Hi, everyone. Jeff Lee here, Program Director of TMASF Connects. I'll once again be joined by Jen Pollard, our Chief Operating Officer, and Shirley Lin, our Marketing Associate. Today, we are continuing our series of informational interviews with Dale Roberts, founder of Centarus. As a disclaimer, please note that Centarus is a partner and the IT team of TMASF Connects. We are continuing our series on cybersecurity, and today's topic will be on recycling devices. We do have a fact sheet available online, and notes for some of the terms used today will be available at the end of the video as well. For our viewers out there, you may be wondering, what does recycling devices have to do with cybersecurity? Well, before you dispose of your device, there may still be sensitive information stored on it. Jumping right in, Dale, what are some common ways for individuals and organizations to dispose of their devices?
So I think there's two main ways when you're wiping information on your hard drive is what you want to do. And there's something called a low-level hard drive format. There's some third-party tools you can use for that. They're free. And it does take a little bit longer to wipe those devices, but you want to perform at least a low-level drive format before recycling any device. A second suggestion would be to engage with a company that uses a hard drive shredder. So this is like a big copy machine that you can drop the drives in where they shred them, just like confetti and paper shredders. So those are the two recommendations I would make for sure.
Okay.
So Dale, when we talk about maybe researching companies to recycle, maybe personal computers or iPads and things like that, is there a criteria that we should ask or looking for from certain companies? Things that, maybe you can flag what I should ask for or
Sure. Thing? Yeah, there's a couple new certificate. Well, I don't know if they're generally new, but in the industry for recyclers, one's called Responsible Recycling Certification, known as an R2 certification. And the second one is called Recycling Industry Operating Standard, RIOS. So if you are looking for recycling or an e-waste company, also known as, look for one of these two certifications and question their process. What's the process look like? What do you do with this information? 25% of material that's recycled these days is actually recycled. About 25% is actually recycled. The rest maybe go to some type of incinerator or illegally shipped overseas for landfills, unfortunately. Still happening today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know, if you're aware, should I be looking to get some type of a certificate or just some kind of notice that, yes, that it was disposed of in a legal manner? So something doesn't come back in 30 days and, I find my credit changed.
Sure. Great question. Personally, I don't believe a certificate it's not something I'm comfortable with. So I'd rather take that additional precautionary measure and make sure you're doing either a low-level drive format or you're shredding the drive itself.
Okay.
So just kind of keep in mind, maybe to touch a little bit on your concern there, which is extremely valid. What information may be on a drive? Why should you be concerned about that? There are companies out there that specialize in retrieving data for drives that have been formatted, so to speak. Okay. So there's some pretty high-end tools that can do this. So for example, if you believe you may have formatted a drive, you turn it in and it is retrieved by a malicious actor. They can sometimes retrieve all the data, and all the data may be a local cached database file. For example, your email in the Outlook world is called OST. So meaning they can retrieve all of your entire mailbox. And wow. If you use Dropbox or Ignite or Box, some of these popular cloud solutions, they synchronize. They don't necessarily always have all the files on the server. So there may be a remnants of drive file information on your local drive. That can be PII information for yourself or for your client.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that, but thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, that sounds beyond scary, but But what should we delete off our devices or to make it safe before we dispose it?
I'm sorry, what should you leave off the devices?
Yes. Yeah. What should we delete?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in our society today, it's so easy to get your new iPhone out of the package, or to get your new Lenovo laptop and just start working away. Set up your Google, set up your Outlook, set up your Dropbox, and go and log in your Facebook or your Instagram, and before you know it, everything's there. So it's important to do it the right way. You want to format it. You want to get rid of everything altogether. But if you were to go through the process and you wanted to be selective, those are the things you want to think about. What applications, how's that data? And that, as I touched on, that could be cache for your web browser. Looking at a lot of logins are cached, a lot of passwords are cached. So meaning they can automatically log in to your accounts to retrieve your information. So back to that, the most safe tactic in that is, I think, at low level or shredding entirely before you get rid of any type of electronic device.
Okay. And even after doing that, are there any sensitive information that may be stored that I'm not aware of?
Now, if you follow those steps, you're going to be okay, I think. Mm-hmm. But back to if you're just going to, and we've seen this as well for previous companies we've taken over and looked at hardware. A lot of folks will think you just go in there, if you delete the C drive, or you do a partial format, or you just delete directories. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it, because that information may be in kind of a cache mode, so to speak, and that's how these drive restore companies are able to retrieve that data. So it's very important you follow the right steps to get rid of the data the right way.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. You bet.
And so, Dale, are there any additional or different safety procedures that we should take if we want to donate our devices rather than just kind of getting rid of them completely and shredding it?
I think following the same parameters would be recommended. Even if you're going to donate a device, you can't assume that this is going to be handled, or it may not end up in the wrong hands. So, but that is a very good point for if you were to recycle a machine, for example, for a new employee. You want to make sure that the steps are taken for cleaning up any old information relevant to that, the old profile information, for example, or relevant email information. And also this touches on the question or consideration, should you encrypt your devices, which is a good best practice. A native encryption, we may have touched on this from another episode, but native encryption in Windows is called BitLocker, which is fine. Another one in the Mac world is FileVault. So encrypting drives is a good best practice for any production environment.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Well, wrapping up on the topic of recycling devices, at least for today, is there any one takeaway that we didn't cover that you would like our audience to know about?
I think, just be smart. And just because you may have a device or a computer or a laptop or peripheral that you no longer use, if there's relevant data on that or previous PII information from a previous employee or customer information, keep in mind that it's still vulnerable. So it may be not in use and offline entirely and stuffed away in the corner in the office. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's safe. There's a lot of evolving tactics out there from bad actors and where social engineering is becoming very popular. So it could come down to, planning a break-in to a building, for example, to access your office, to retrieve this computer, to set up an external drive reader, to maybe pull the drive, wipe this, pull this information over, and then leave the system intact, and then leave the office with no knowledge that they were even there. So it is important to kind of to treat that information as valuable PII info, even if it's just sitting there in the corner.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go dig up some of my old iPhones now and make sure that they're cleanly wiped.
It's a good move.
Well, thank you for your time today, Dale.
You bet.
We hope everyone finds these videos helpful. For more information, please visit our website and see our fact sheets at tmasfconnects.org. If you want more information on IT solutions, please reach out to Centarus at centarus.co. Okay. Thanks, Dale.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, bye-bye.
Take care.